Negotiating. Boy, I tell you what, when you raise this question with salespeople and they get scared, it's almost as something they get concerned about as much as prospecting. Oh, they hate to prospect and they hate to have to negotiate. Let me tell you something. Negotiating is a real thing, but there's ways that you do it. Let me share with you 12 critical factors when it comes to negotiating. First of all, number one, sell first and negotiate second. Too many salespeople, they race right into negotiating. Don't. Sell first. Sell the value proposition. Sell what it is that you're doing. If you do a good enough job of selling first, understanding the needs of the customer, understanding the whole parameter, it's amazing how negotiation becomes less and less important because the customer sees the value. Too many salespeople race into negotiation without even knowing the facts. And that's what happens when you fail to sell first and negotiate second. Number two, knowing when to negotiate. And again, this picks up on number one. People race to negotiate because what they do is they somehow think it's about price. It's not about price. Knowing when to negotiate. You're only going to negotiate after you've put the proposal on the table and the customers push back on it. That's the only time you even begin to think about negotiating. Don't try to negotiate before you put an offer on the table. And really, when you put the offer on the table, you've got to make sure that the customer rejects it and you understand why they're rejecting it before you negotiate. Number three, knowing who the decision maker is. Oh man, I see this happen all the time. Salespeople will sit there and, well, I'm negotiating with them and they think that, and I had to give them a better price and yada, yada, yada. But then they had to take it to somebody else to get approval. Why were you negotiating with them? You only negotiate with the decision maker. And that's a question you got to ask up front. How do you make decisions like this? How have you made decisions like this in the past? What's the process you use? You've got to understand that before you even begin thinking about getting very deep into the sales process. You got to know their real needs. Now, not just what they tell you up front, but their real needs. You got to dig deep so you really understand what their needs are, their real critical needs are. And when you do this, it is amazing at how things begin to change because now you really understand the pain that they have and you can really put the right value proposition across the table to them. Knowing what their timeline is. Because again, you see, customers don't buy to your timeline. They buy to their timeline. Oh, wait a minute, hold it. They do buy your timeline if you discount the price enough. Hold it. You want to avoid discounting the price? Sell to the customer's timeline. Know their timeline. Why is it important for them to make a decision now versus later? What's going to happen if they don't make a decision? What's the ramification? What's the impact? Next one, knowing their value of money. In other words, how important is money? I mean, cash flow is everything. So the company might say, hey, we could make this deal, but we got to do it on these terms. Or this, understand what that is. And the value of money comes back to the proposition. Let's use a very simple example. I go to Starbucks a lot. Now, I know I overpay for coffee at Starbucks compared to McDonald's, but I go to Starbucks because I think it's a better cup of coffee. You see, my value of money when it comes to coffee is no problem at all. You see, this is, you have to understand their value of money because what that comes back to is what's the outcome, what's the solution that they're looking for. Next one, you got to be willing to walk away. If you are not willing to walk away, guess what? The customer will negotiate with you forever and they'll keep getting you down lower and lower, lower, lower in price. You have to be willing to know what's your amount and walk away. And sometimes the most profitable deals you'll ever get are the ones you don't get. Next one, never ask, only tell. Never ask. Yeah, don't say, hey, is this an okay price or what do you think of this? No, you tell them because telling them, it's a confidence factor in your own mind. You have to absolutely believe in it. If you ask, the customer is always going to sit there and say, well, I want something cheaper. I want something less. I want something better. You tell them because what you're telling them is based off the needs that they have, and this is the value proposition, and this is how you're going to help them. Leverage time. Leverage time to your advantage. Now, there's time works on two ends, the customer's time and your time. You see, I love dragging things out on my end because, again, I want to get the customer to come around to my terms. But at the same time, the customer may have their need of time in terms of that they got to close the decision right now because of this, or they have to wait. Understand time, the value of time to both parties. For instance, the customer, they may need to make a decision on you because they have another bigger decision that they have to make, and that has to be made by tomorrow. So guess what? That means they got to make it your decision today. Understand those things. Use silence. Use silence. Not only when you communicate the deal, use silence. Don't sit there and say, so what do you think? Hey, what do they think? You're going to say, hey, it's too high. It's too expensive. Use silence also in terms of not necessarily responding right away to their counter proposal. Using silence to put something across the table and then just wait. There's an art and a science to using silence. When not to write. What do I mean by when not to write? What I mean by this is don't put anything in writing until you're absolutely firm. Here's the thing. You may be negotiating over 5 or 6 variables. And if you start putting them in writing as you get through the list, you're running out of really ammunition with which to negotiate with. Don't put things in writing until you're absolutely sure and you're comfortable with that being potentially used against you or really being held to. And the last one is your confidence. You have to be confident that you are going into this negotiation with the best interest of the customer in mind. You want to create the best value proposition. That does not mean discounting the price, because here's the whole situation. It's amazing how customers will perceive a low price with low quality. You have to be willing to hold your ground. Hey, there's a whole lot more information around this. If you go to the blog, read the blog, or grab the ebook. Why? Because again, I want you to understand that negotiating is not something you run from, but you're willing to do when you do have to do it. Check out both of my podcasts, would you? The Sales Hunter podcast and Sales Logic. These are 2 great podcasts that provide every week episodes, new knowledge, new insights to help you sell more effectively. I'm Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Great selling.